So this is a special 2-part podcast featuring J Nolan and Fresh and Local, and this is part 2. Before we begin, here's all the information of J Nolan and Fresh and Local.
So yeah, man, y'all can follow me at Real J Nolan. That's gonna be at RealJNolan, and that's across both Instagram, Twitter. If you're on Facebook, it's facebook.com/TheRealJNolan. If you want to get in contact with me about anything, email me at realjnolan@gmail.com. And if you want to get involved with Fresh and Local and our whole situation, you can go on our Instagram. That's at Fresh and Local. You can add us on Twitter as well, Fresh Local ATL. And like I said before, email us at freshandlocalatl@gmail.com if you want to submit to be a part of the Fresh and Local Fest, whether that be performance or if you want to be a vendor. Reach out. We're very receptive to anything that you're talking about, man, and we just like to build with people. So, yeah, man, get in contact with us. And make sure you visit freshandlocalatl.com to stay up to date with new events. Join our mailing list so that you can really stay up to date and we can deliver everything directly to you. And, yeah, man, that's pretty much that.
Yeah. So I want to get more in depth when it comes to you as an artist.
Okay.
Because we talked about the music business,
absolutely,
your brand, you marketing it. So as an artist, what are some of your key tips when, like, for the next artist, when you go to the studio, what's the first thing you focus on? Do you have like a so-called ritual that you go based on, or do you just go?
I have no ritual, man. Like for me, I'm a very focused person.
Yeah.
So like for me, if I'm in the studio, like it could be starting from scratch with producers. It could be I already have the records pre-planned. Like I got the beat, I already wrote the lyrics. I'm going in there. It's like, bro, just pull it up. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'm there to execute. I'm there to express myself and make the best music. So when I'm in the studio, I don't have any like rituals. I don't have any light the incense, clap 3 times, do a circle, and go ahead and hit record. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't, no disrespect to anybody that does that. You know what I mean?
That's why I say, your own ritual in the studio.
Yeah,
people do.
For sure.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not doing none of that bewitched type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, I'm just there to be a vessel, man. And like I said, for me, I've done this so long as far as like delivering verses and, just being put on the spot, having to freestyle, having to memorize verses. Like I just did but like I went out to New York at the end of last year, you know what I'm saying? And it was something that was completely unplanned. Yeah. Like, I did like this challenge for the Top Shelf Freestyle that Low Deluxe had put together. Like it was a challenge that he had issued on Instagram. I was already doing like freestyle series, so I just started tagging him on all the joints I already had out, right? Didn't know if he was seeing them. But then one day, he pops up in my DM like, yo, what's good, family? I need you out for my show. And it's like...
You took the opportunity.
Yeah, I took the opportunity. I took off from work when I wasn't supposed to. Told them niggas I was sick. You know what I'm saying? And when it made it happen, But, it's like they gave us a beat and was like, you got 24 bars, kill it. Bet. Go out there with a verse, pre-prepared. We do it. And then he like, all right, now, y'all know I wasn't going to just have y'all up here for the fun of it. We call this the deluxe round. We going to give you a topic, and you got to incorporate it into your next verse. And I was like, I ain't know he was coming with 2 verses. But I had to seize the moment. The cameras was on. You know what I'm saying? And this was a Hot 97 situation. Like, if you
went in.
Yeah, I had to, man. I had to. It's like, man, I got people at home watching this. I know, like, people that have known me to be, a very serious MC over the course of my lifetime. I cannot fumble this right now. I don't care if I don't win this situation, but I know I'm going to represent myself very well.
You won the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. So, if I didn't approach my craft in that type of way, I may not have been prepared. I may have started stumbling my verse or forgetting my lyrics or, just completely froze up because I wasn't prepared, and that's not something that I'm used to, is being put on the spot. But I had to go up there and kill it. Like, and people seen it in the video, man. Like, the crowd was definitely into it.
Yeah. And just going off of what you said, I feel like you should be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people be like, "What?" That just means like, if you're nervous, use it for your strength. Because years ago, when I was one of my friend named Tom Pete, he used to tour with MGK and Tech Nine. So I was on stage looking at 1,000 people, 2,000 people, and the first time you look at the crowd, you might get nervous, and you should use it to your advantage. I got on stage and I enjoyed myself because I didn't let it like affect me as a whole. Yeah, you should always think of ways to overcome your weakness, making sure that you give the crowd a good show.
Yeah.
Especially as an artist, because like J Nolan was talking about, you're an entertainer.
Yeah.
Like that's your job. As soon as you hit the stage, you gotta find out how to incorporate what you do to benefit the crowd from enjoying the night. You want them to talk about your show for like the next week or two.
Yeah, for sure.
You want them to like, oh man, as soon as you end your set, they want to find out like your next event, like your next show. That's how it should be.
Yeah, and I'm all about that, man. Like, I remember I used to be scared to perform, man. I used to make so many excuses not to perform.
Really?
Yeah, man.
When was this?
Man, I was probably like 21, bro. And this was like during the height of like the Apache Cafe area. Like,
oh yeah, I remember Apache.
Like, all the time people were like, yo, you're dope. Go to Apache. I'm like,
the I Do Music event?
That was around that time.
Yep. Yeah, okay.
They're like, go to Apache. I would be like, man, they not gonna like my music, bro. I don't do that type of stuff, man. They not gonna like it. And I was scared as a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I was done, bro. They like, no, just do it. Like, they gonna love you, man. I done seen it. And I'm like, man, it's not. I'm good, man. I'm gonna do it one day. And shit, that event didn't even start popping up no more. I missed my opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But after that, I got booked directly for some stuff. Somebody reached out to me and basically put me on the spot. Like, hey, you're dope. I want you to be on my stage. So at that point, it's like, you're gonna turn that down? Are you crazy? So I had to go do it. And it was like the nerves that I felt that night made me fall in love with performing. Because it was like, man, I was so scared to get up here. And I didn't, of course, that was my first show. I was not fully prepared, but I still got a good reaction from the crowd. And it was like, dang, if I got a good reaction off of like a subpar performance, I wonder what it would be like if I put my all into it. And from that day forth, it was like, yo, I gotta bring it every time I touch a mic, like, from whatever element I'm trying to attack it from. So if I'm going in to do a song that's like just like lyrically focused, it's like, okay, I can deliver the lyrics, but let me deliver them in a way that you feel it in your spirit. Or if I'm trying to get people turned up, like, all right, what energy do I gotta channel in order for them to feel that in their spirit? Or if I want to come from an introspective type of point of view where I'm doing a song that makes you have to think about something that you may not have thought about before. How do I make that translate live to where you feel that in your spirit? And it's like, damn, I love it, man. Like, I feel like my home is the stage. Like, that's where you can just like, because going in the studio to do a song is fun, but it's a formula to that. So it's not the experience of it after you do it a while. It's not the same as when you first do it.
Yeah.
But performing is kind of like a new experience every time because you don't know who's going to be in the crowd. You don't know if they're going to give you the same energy that you had at the last show. At the last show, you could have been Michael Jackson to the crowd. But the next one, they looking at you like,
who's this?
Who is this guy? Never heard of him. I don't care. You're going to have to convince me, bro. And, it's like a new challenge every time. Or you might make a certain type of genre, but like somebody that likes you is like, hey, I have this show at, this jazz place, but I think you will still be a great addition to the show. It's like, okay, well, what music of mine is even palatable for this type of setting. So this is where your diversity as an artist can come into play. Like some people only make one type of song and just recreate that for the rest of their life. But for me, it's like I have different moods. So it's like, all right, what song in my catalog can I play in this setting? You know what I'm saying? Or, I've had I've had instances where I've had to perform for like a super adult type of crowd where it's like, damn, these niggas is like 38 and above. You know what I mean?
I'm about to say, what's super adult?
Well, super adult to me is just like, they not trying to hear the rah-rah music. They not trying to hear, like, what's going on.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, okay, maybe I don't make that type of music, but I do have aggressive content at times. So it's like, all right, we can't do none of that tonight. But for some artists, their catalog is just strictly one thing. And I'm really thankful for the fact that I approach my whole situation from a just looking down at what's important to me. Like, man, I can make any type of music. I can do anything that I really want to do. So how do I do that? And, it's been able to translate very well for me, especially when it comes to live performances, because like I said, some doors that didn't have to be open were open because I had the right music for the right time.
Yeah, I agree on that. Like, even when it comes to super adults, man, there's some people in that age that's gonna like love your music like automatically. Sure. Like, oh yeah, there's people who's like 50, 60 who love Uzi. Lil
yeah,
Uzi.
That's true.
Yeah. So I believe music is a gateway to all ages. It just depends on what you like, what's your taste. Like, even with me, I like Lil Peep.
Okay.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You ever heard his music?
I heard some. I heard
it's very
something.
dark.
I heard something early, and that's one thing that like puts me in a place. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand that these younger guys are going through a lot,
but they just so young though.
Yeah,
they just putting too much pressure on themselves.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I say it puts me in a certain type of place. Like to hear the perspective that some of these younger guys are putting out is like really morbid and dark, and like they're really going through depression in front of the world, and that scares me because we know what that can lead to. You know what I'm saying? And especially when they talk about their drug use and stuff like that so openly, and they're so young, man, it just hurts my heart, man. And I really wish that people would pay attention to what these guys are talking about.
And then Sway Lee said something that was like really in depth, but it was true. It was right after Juice WRLD out, or he could have posted this like months ago. But he said, "Death is the best marketing strategy." It is.
It is.
It's sad to say, but
I hate to say it.
As soon as someone passes away, like their album goes gold or platinum, they're number one on the Billboard.
Yeah.
People are constantly trying to watch their YouTube
interviews.
interviews.
They won't appreciate you fully until you're not here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's another thing that puts me at a certain type of place. I remember when I was younger, man, I used to have those insecurities about, man, am I ever gonna blow up or whatever. And it's like, I bet people will love this stuff once I die. And then be like, let me get out of even thinking like that. And man, it's just this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
And you can look back on anyone throughout time, like those record sales go up, like, and I know people be mourning and it's like, yeah, let me turn on their music, but I've seen it on big and smaller scales, man, and it breaks my heart to see like people that we'll overlook when we see them in person so much, and then once they pass, it's like we can't get enough for their stuff. It's crazy.
It is. That's why I believe you should do as much as you can in this world while you're living. Like with me, put out as much content as you can, take as many photos, network with as many people as you can, because, when you go, you want to be remembered. Of course, everybody wants to be remembered.
Sure. Yeah.
how your funeral is gonna look, who's gonna be there, who's gonna be a part of it, who's gonna speak. Like, I know we're thinking more on the lines of the future, but every day when I wake up, I'm thinking on the aspect, if I die today, what did I leave?
Yeah, for sure.
Did I leave value for somebody? Is my family secure? Things in that nature I think of.
That's what's important.
Yeah, a lot of people think about day by day. I'm thinking more on the line like 20 and 30 years from now. Alex Toomey, which is Young Thug's engineer, he said he wants his music to be around 100 years after he dies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's big. A lot of people don't even think in that nature because, of course, after 100 years, you can use material for the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I mean, that's what we should be doing this for. We should be trying to aim to be timeless. Like, if you just think about what's happening today, like, that puts you in a weird, it puts you in a funny space, because if you're just thinking about today, you could be left behind tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen that happen numerous times too. You get these people that, you know, have that one good hit or whatever the case may be, and it's like we start asking what happened to that person 5-6 years later, or what happened to this, or what happened to that. And only Lord knows what happens to some of these people, man. And yeah, man, I say that not as a joke, but just as reality. Like, we got to start paying more attention to what it is that we're doing and move with intention. Just living on a day-to-day basis, like, it's not a good business plan for anybody. You know what I mean? And that's just keeping it real. And we can fall into that sometimes, but still got to have a bigger picture, a bigger purpose behind what you're doing to at least keep you on track.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Do you have like a morning ritual, or before you go to bed, you write ideas for the next day? Like, do you do anything in that nature?
Morning
routine.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a routine, but I definitely do plan ahead, and just have like agendas for the week, things that need to be done, things that need to be accomplished. And those don't even have to be like extravagant things. It could just be like, I know that I gotta have this done. I have to have this ready. I have to have this completed and turned in order to move forward with the next thing that I'm trying to do. Or I need to look into this so that I could be informed about a decision I'm trying to make for my future. So I'm more like that, man. I don't necessarily have a morning ritual. Well, I do have a morning ritual of some sort, but it's not pertaining to like writing down ideas. My morning ritual is more like taking 5-10 moments of like meditation and prayer.
Oh yes, that's necessary.
And just like before I get my day started, I do that. Just so that I can be be balanced and at peace before I go out into the world for the rest of the day.
No, that's one of the biggest things, I believe, because even for people who don't believe in like spirituality,
Sure,
Jesus and all that, I still feel like you should meditate, because you have that moment to actually have clarity, a moment of clarity, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a quiet space, give yourself time to just tune out of the world, because some people, as soon as they wake up, they go straight to their phone, go on Instagram, seeing who liking their page, who's following them. And that's a bad routine, because you could get sucked in not even knowing it, thinking that you're okay. And it's really an addiction.
It is.
We're in the social media addiction phase.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. And it's like we're conditioning ourselves and setting ourselves up for that addiction, like openly, because, once you see your likes go up from the last post, you want to keep it growing to the next one. So it's like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? We're constantly in this space where nothing is enough. It's never enough, especially when it comes to social media, because all we do on there is consume. It's like feeding a scavenger. You know what I'm saying? Like, when are we full? When are we contained enough to be like, okay, I can rest, or I can take time for myself to fill my own cup, because all I'm doing is constantly giving to the world. But I'm not giving anything necessarily of substance. I'm just giving myself, my energy, depleting myself. You know what I mean? Trying to meet a standard that, you're not really gonna meet. And another thing that I tell people is that if you're looking at Instagram as the standard, keep in mind that regular people living day to day, you're not gonna compete with somebody that got $300,000 for marketing. Like, you want to try, I want to make my stuff look like this. I want to get my stuff to have an impact like that. Yeah. Have a great quality, have a great impact, but just understand that if you're judging yourself based on what somebody else is able to create that has a certain amount of backing, has 12 hands in the background making stuff happen in order for them to be that product that you see, like, and you want to try to create that on your own, like, yeah, be ambitious, but understand that you're competing against some heavy odds. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're not necessarily able to do that, like, don't be down on yourself. Don't rob yourself of joy. Don't tell yourself that this isn't good enough to be put in front of the public, because we'll create so much and just hoard it and keep it to ourselves because we don't feel like it's good enough for the market. We don't feel like it's ready. We'll sit and hold ourselves back with this. Today's not the time type of mentality where it's like, you've been saying that for 5 years, bro. Like, when is the day? Because tomorrow's not promised. And if you're going off of somebody else's standard, you're never going to be good enough, because everything is evolving on a daily scale. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, do your best and know when to detach, especially emotionally.
Yeah.
To this social media virtual gratification situation.
Yeah. And don't get caught up in the system too, because with social media, like J Nolan was talking about, you know, if you got a bigger marketing budget, you know, you're winning. Because like Dan Kennedy, you can actually do some research. He said ultimately the business that can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. That's why McDonald's be spending millions of dollars a year on their commercials, and it's the biggest fast food chain in the world.
Exactly. I mean, every time you flip a channel, you're going to see a McDonald's ad, bro. If you're driving on the highway, you're going to see McDonald's ads. If you're listening to the radio, you're going to hear McDonald's ads for a new special for giving out a burger for $2.99 that used to be $5. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they programming you like, I got to go get that. I got to go get that joint. Like, I can't. McDonald's right in it. They got them on every corner. You know what I mean? Like, you can't avoid it. At some point, you're going to stop at that mug. It could be the trashiest stuff in the world. You're going to stop there just because
they have value.
Just because out of value. You're going to stop there out of convenience because it's on every corner. And it's like, dang, I done passed all the other corners. Now I'm by the house. I don't even want nothing else. I'm going to just stop over there.
And you know what? I was doing research on McDonald's because like Ray Kroc back in the day. Do you know what's McDonald's biggest value?
What's that?
Their real estate. Because they own all the property. You got to think of it this way. Yeah. Because Ray Kroc was, I think he was in the real estate business actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so every McDonald's that you see pass by is property of McDonald's. Like you can't, like who's gonna buy out that McDonald's?
You not.
Unless you Disney.
But, you ain't got the money to buy it. You can't walk in there and be like, yo, I want to buy this building from y'all. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You ain't got enough for this.
But that just shows you, because he wasn't just thinking about the fast food industry. He was thinking more on the aspect of, okay, I got the fast food industry. How can I capitalize off this? Dealing with real estate.
Right.
And then capitalize dealing with advertisement with the commercials.
Right.
Because I know some artists who deal with real estate, who deal with brand marketing, who have their own website, selling sample packs, selling vocal packs,
that's what
having events.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta do more than just be an artist. Basically.
Yeah, cause shit, if not, you got to be a crazy talented artist, like
who got their business on point.
Yeah, cause if that's all you doing, man, you got to be an anomaly today. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just where we're at in the world, like, and just even when you look at things economically, man, if you don't have at least 2 to 3, you will want to get 5 or more, like, income streams, different ways of producing for yourself. Exactly. It's gonna be hard because the economy, the price of things is not going down. You know what I mean? It's only gonna go up. It's only gonna keep going up. We see this every year. Like, look at these homes. Look at these apartment complexes that be popping up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be living in a complex, and it's like, yeah, all right, yeah, bet we are $800 a month, and then that next year come around and they done knock some shit down and they like, yeah, we building this whole shopping center up, man. We trying to gentrify this out. 1,200. 12? It was just 8.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Up.
And it's like,
there's no way you can go around it either.
Nah, it's like either you re-sign your lease for this increase, or you get released. You know what I mean? Like,
get released. Oh, that was
good. But that's real, man.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's like shit. Well, I guess I'll figure it out. I'll go elsewhere. But then you go into the market and then you see like, dang, it ain't just the community I live in, because they doing this in every county.
Yeah.
So it's getting tough, man. You gotta have other ways to produce just to sustain yourself and your family.
Yeah, and going off of what J Nolan was talking about, so good example, Travis Scott. He had multiple source of income. He did a collaboration with Reese's Puff.
Right.
Like that sold out crazy. He got collaboration with Jordans. He got like collaboration with toys. Like he got a bobblehead. It's crazy. Houston Rockets. Drake got Virginia Black. He's the ambassador of
the Raptors.
The Raptors. Won a ring. Yeah, that's crazy. But he's not just dealing with music. He's dealing with liquor. Okay, Jay-Z, he just became the first hip-hop billionaire.
Right.
And he's a mogul. He's not even an artist. Well, he is an artist, but
right.
he's titled as a mogul because he has business when it comes to title. He has like 2-3 different liquor companies. Rock Nation.
Which is only growing.
Yeah, only growing with the talent. The clothing line, Rockefeller back in the day, like he knew exactly what he was doing. Even with P. Diddy, he had Ciroc, Sean John, Bad Boys. The list goes on. You got to
Revolt.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Man, can't forget about Revolt. Yeah. Were you at the summit?
No, I was not there.
Yeah,
but
I
like,
wasn't either.
Hey man, somebody gonna have to sponsor me to go to the summit, bruh. But
and A3C too, man.
Yeah, man. Somebody, I need a sponsor for all of these things going around. Like, y'all coming for people's pockets, man.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is true.
But you know, hey, every resource you gotta use it to your advantage. But like you saying, man, that's where we're at today, man. Like, if you do music, leverage that audience from your music, create other things, man. Whether it be clothing, whether it be a beverage. It don't even have to be liquor. Like, liquor is, it's very lucrative. But on a smaller scale, you could make a drink. You know what I'm saying? Be safe now because we got coronavirus. But, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're crafty, like if you know how to do handmade paintings and stuff like that, like sell those. Like, it's a lot that you can get into that can sustain you long term, man, and just like introducing people to the other layers of who you are. You want to be a multifaceted individual. You want to be able to provide other types of services, because there may be a day that primary source that you came in with is not as valuable as it used to be.
Yeah, just like with me, I have multiple sources of income, which I'm thankful for because I do a lot of research. Even when it deals with stocks, that's on another aspect. Yeah. But even with me, like what J Nolan was talking about, like, you know, you create things from hand. Like, I have acoustic panels and vocal booths I built from hand. And the thing is, as time goes by, I will sell them. Just right now, I just love to have like the comfort of having the whole room full of panels.
Right.
And then the value of an acoustic panel could be like $40, $60, and I could sell one for like $15, $20 because I already know the material, how to make it, the fabric. It's easy because I did research. If you really want to have multiple sources of income, do research. Yeah. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. If there's something you don't understand, Google and YouTube are there for you.
For sure. Absolutely, man. And, you know, that's what led me to doing Fresh and Local Fest. That's what led me to doing, you know, Untitled. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, what are things that I'm passionate about that I don't necessarily have to always be on a mic, you know what I'm saying, talking, you know, doing music, my own music, to still be involved in something that I really love. Like, my goal forever is not to be a rapper, you know what I mean? But it's like, all right, how do I stay connected to this? How do I create resources, create platforms? How do I just leverage other things as far as like even getting the music licensing? Like, you don't have to have brand new music to do that. You could have a song that's been sitting in your hard drive for 10 years, but it might be right for this opportunity.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know anything about it, you can't activate on that opportunity. So it's a lot of different things, man. I'm really blessed. Like you mentioned the credits that I had earlier. I'm really blessed to have been able to experience those things because I never came into music thinking that was a possibility. Somebody had to introduce it to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why I try to always pay it forward and introduce it to others.
Yeah, me too, because I have credits too from albums and, you know, networking with the major labels and, you know, just to helping the next person. Yep. That's why I never have a problem with answering anybody's question when it comes to like what I learned from Steve, different things that I learned from looking at Ray Shrimmer's track, Wiz Khalifa, Migos. And I'm really honored that he would actually open up, knowing for a fact that he could pick anybody in the world because there's so many people who want to be assistant engineers for him.
For sure.
It depends on you being humble and being driven. Those are the two biggest things that he told me he saw in me because, you know, if he sent me something, I try my best to send it the same day or the next day. Some people, he told me send stuff like 2-3 days to a week later. Yeah. And then, you know, being humble because my mentor, if you meet him in person, you would not believe he's a multi-platinum engineer who worked with some of the top artists in the world.
Yeah. And that's, man, it's interesting that you say that because when you really start getting around the people that have like the real success, that's kind of a common thread. You would never know what they were into. You would never know what they were even doing for a living just by if you looked at their appearance or the way that they treat the people around them. It's like, dang, this dude got all these credits, work with all these people, you know, dang near a celebrity in their own right, but they're respectful to people. They honor the energy of the room. Like they understand that they serve a bigger purpose. They're not trying to be somebody that they're not.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, but there are two sides to that because there are some people be like boasting their credit, like man, those be the irritating ones.
Yeah, you right. You absolutely right. But we're speaking on like the people that understand their position. Like there's a difference.
That is true.
Like, because people that have some sort of leverage, but they don't really understand their position, they're boastful. They're overcompensating for something that they lack, whether it's confidence, whether it's self-esteem, whether it's like wanting to have power because they never have.
Or personal success they feel like they should have.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You want to try to make yourself into this other person. But if you're truly comfortable with who you are, you would never have to do stuff like that. And you're really making yourself look crazy because the people that you come in contact with don't really care about all that neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you gonna make yourself look really foolish when you come around people more successful than yourself and you acting like you that person, like you that dude. It's like, bro, you just got here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that all the time because the first time I met Mike Will Made It, I congratulated him because he just he did Kendrick Lamar's Humble and DNA off the Damn album.
Yeah, killed
those. They was like, appreciate it, man. And there was this other kid, I don't know who brought him in, but he was just doing too much because he was around Mike Will and his team, and they just looked at him awkwardly because you could be around people and still be, you know, confident. You could be calm.
Yeah.
You don't have to act like, oh, man, we got to do something crazy because he's in the building. Nah. Just respect them for, you know, being who they are.
Yeah.
And then next week, I found out he just won a Grammy for Humble. That was crazy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but he's someone I would consider humble because he do things in the community. He know his position. He could be one of those type who can boast because of what he done. I'm glad he doesn't.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
Like, of course, he did Formation with Beyonce.
Yep.
He executive produced Creed 2 album. He also worked with acts like Miley Cyrus, Katy Perry.
For sure, yeah.
And his list goes on, too. There was a lot of credits I didn't even know.
It's a lot of people that came after Mike Will that took his format.
Oh, yeah,
Period.
That's true. And Mike will always show credits for like Pharrell, Timberland, Dr. Dre. With this generation now, because I don't see a lot of executive producer, other than Pharrell. He produced that, I forgot what year the NBA 2K came out, but
got you.
He did that. Yeah. Jay-Z, Kanye West, executive produced The Great Gatsby. Kendrick Lamar, executive produced Black Panther.
Yeah.
Future executive produced Superfly. So
Yeah.
on that aspect, that's where I'm looking towards, as time goes by.
For sure.
Because they taking money out of their pocket knowing that they're going to get a return.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another source of income that a lot of producers probably not even thinking of. That's why I say Mike Will, he's on another level because I don't hear other producers, executive producing projects.
Yeah, for sure. I give you that.
Unless you know somebody.
Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it happening like that, man. You know what I mean? And I only say that because we don't always know what we can do.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things that we can be involved in. We just don't always know the process or don't always make ourselves aware of the process.
Or someone's trying to keep it away from you.
That too.
Yeah.
But that's why I say making ourselves aware, because we can't rely on the next person to give us that information. We have to, just like a dog, start sniffing around. You know what I mean? Like, all right, let me see what I can find out here. I may get a couple scraps right now.
Yeah.
But I can build off of that. You know what I mean?
That's the point, building.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that's bringing back to my point of like that, the Songwriter Social Club, man. It's like, I don't claim to have the glossary of music business. You know what I mean? I don't claim that our panelists and guests have the end all be all of like what you should know. I'm not coming in here to like point the finger and be like, I am the voice of reason far as music is concerned. But it's just like, yo, if you came in here today not knowing this information, at least you go home with it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. It's like, and even if you do know it when you came in here, maybe we can give you something that you didn't know or something to add to it or give you another perspective about the information that you already knew. And that could spark the brain of so much, you know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing, man. Like, I don't want to take credit for nobody's journey. Like, we just set up a situation where it's like, I know that there's a demand for this because I'm out here with the other artists, you know what I mean? I interact with them. And once you start asking certain questions, the conversations get quiet, you know what I mean? And that's not a diss on their part. It's just like, yo, I see that we don't know. There's nobody giving us that information. There's nobody sitting us down. And some of us aren't going to the internet doing that sniffing around. So it's like, all right, how can I provide an outlet that puts people in position to learn more about this craft that they're a part of, to learn more about how they can protect themselves on a legal level, how they can, just different things, man. We had the labs come in, and for those of y'all that are in the Atlanta area, if you ever heard of the labs, like they have a platform where it's like open for collaboration, and you can just do all your split sheets and everything in their app. But my guy Neil from the labs, you know what I'm saying, he had collaborated with somebody, and it was like a year later, the song he produced that they never did split sheets for, that they never did no type of agreements on, his song was getting played overseas, getting mad love, and nobody informed him about nothing. It was just out one day. You know what I'm saying? And once it came back around, it was like he wasn't even credited for his contribution to the record. So he had to try to like get things sorted out on the back end. And these are the types of things that are happening every day that nobody really talks about that much. Where you got to go hunt somebody down like, bro, I produced that, or bro, I wrote this in the song.
Yeah,
you just straight cut me out.
Yeah, it happens a lot in the music industry. Honestly, it's sad. Like, some people in the music industry say that's what the music industry is known for.
Yeah.
That's why you always got to focus on making sure you copyright your material, making sure that you have all your sessions together, make sure you have a good lawyer, understand, like, one way or another. It don't have to be financially. It could be something on the aspect of someone's taking, okay, let's say someone's performing at this one event. You was promised that set. Someone else might take it.
Yep.
It could be in that nature. It doesn't always have to be financially. Just be prepared for things to happen.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't be, hoping that the music industry is just going to work in your favor, because basically it's supposed to work in their favor. That's why you always focus on, the paperwork that's handed to you, making sure it works for you as much as you can.
Yep. That's it right there, man, and that's another thing that I've been telling to a couple people. It's like, man, when somebody presents you with paperwork, it's most likely going to be in their favor.
That's the point of it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But
it's not to make you look good. It's to make them like make money off of you.
Yeah. And even in, favorable situations, I still have to remove myself of liability in case this doesn't go right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So just be aware of like I said earlier, man, people are not just coming with candy, you know what I mean? Like, because they just want you to eat sweets, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more that goes into this, and the more that you understand, the more that you know, the more that you're able to comprehend everything that's going around you, the more equipped you are to be able to sustain and have some sort of longevity in this whole situation.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, J Nolan, I want to say thank you for coming by Rebel Year Studios to have this talk, man. This is gonna be a 2-part actually, man.
Man, it's crazy, man. We sat here and talked for a long time, man. But I appreciate you having me, bro. Like,
no problem at all, man.
Long
Seriously.
time coming.
Yeah, and one thing I do respect about you, because you always, anytime I felt like, what's the purpose of all this? There's times, you feel like, the world's against you.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know for a fact that someone is as focused as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I really want to say thank you for coming by.
Man, thank you,
always,
bro.
We're going to have something set up in the near future. Whenever this coronavirus, is out the way,
for
man.
Sure.
I want to come to the next Songwriter Social Club, man.
Okay.
So you had Scott come out. He's an engineer.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we did. Scott Taylor Jr., yeah.
When I was interning at Castle Hill Studio, he was one of the engineers who I linked up with. We had stories like he was telling me before I even worked with Steve Hibicki how he was working with Mike Will and stuff, and he got his first plaque with Trim Life too.
Yeah, he spoke very highly of that whole camp at the Songwriter Social Club. He gave us the whole rundown of how he got involved with them, because I made sure I asked him how he got his break being a recording engineer, man, because that's what the whole point of us doing it is about, man. Like, if somebody comes off of the street that just has a knack for something but doesn't know where to start, I want to be able to provide an outlet where they can get that information. How this person got their start? What did they go do? Like, if they left out the house that morning, what studio did you go to? Not to say that person's going to go to that exact studio, but just like give me your experience so that I can know how a successful person in this space has navigated their journey, so that I can get up off my tail and figure out how to do it myself also. Shout out to Scott Taylor too, man. Very, 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 very respectful guy, man. He brought his whole family out that night, man. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he's a humble person. I learned a lot from him in the studio. But even what you were saying, like the 3 big tips I could give for somebody, like if you're going to be in the music industry, from what I've learned, 3 things. 1, be on time. 2, keep your word. And 3, don't focus on your last credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I remember when I graduated at SAE, Brian Michael Cox spoke. And he was talking about, he had multiple Grammys.
Yeah.
And he was talking about never focus on your last Grammy, because next year you're just going to be the one who won it last year.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said before, you're going to get passed up. Like, everybody else going to be on to the next thing. If you still talking about that, you're just going to be the guy that did that. It's a beautiful thing to see, like, how this music thing can transform people's lives when it's done the right way.
When it's done the right way. Yeah, because we could talk
Forever,
off the podcast because
yeah.
there's this one situation, I'll tell you, it was crazy. It made me think more in depth on. The only thing I'm going to say to you is be cautious on the people you keep around and know why you're doing this.
For sure.
Because you might do it for the purpose of your family. You might do it for the purpose of getting your music out. But just, make sure to stay true to yourself. I'll just say it that way, because there's a lot of things that I know for a fact that goes on. I'm not going to say Illuminati, this and that, but I do know it can get dark if you allow it.
Oh, yeah.
So in the end, make sure you stay focused on your goals and don't stop, until you achieve it. That's what I say.
Hey, I received that, man, and I'll be continuing to apply that for sure.
All right. From everybody at Rebel Ears, I want to tell everybody thank you for listening to the podcast and keep tuning in.